Welcome to the Cortices Technique. My name is Lynn Morales, and I'll be taking you through this presentation to help support you in your BodyTalk session journey. The Cortices Technique is part of a class called BodyTalk Access. I personally call it the Swiss Army knife of wellness. It's part of the overall BodyTalk system. There are 5 techniques that we teach in the class. You can see them listed here. There's some phenomenal tools, and the reason I call it the Swiss Army knife of wellness is because it doesn't require any supplements, any equipment, anything like that. All it requires is the knowledge you learn in a day, and you can use it for a lifetime. And you can see some incredible opportunities here with the techniques that are listed. Next class offering of this can be found at accesscompletewellness.com upcoming events if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. If you're not, you might choose to go to the BodyTalkSystem.com where you can find an access class anywhere around the world. So Cortices Technique is what we're going to focus on right now. The BodyTalk Access class that Dr. John Veltheim put together, because he is the founder of BodyTalk and the BodyTalk System, he put it together to give families, communities some simple tools to use to help with everyday wellness. Here are some of the amazing applications of the BodyTalk Access program. So I do hope you'll consider advancing your education around this and attend the next BodyTalk Access class offering. Now to move on with the Cortices. This is the first of the techniques in the BodyTalk system that just is a real go-to for so many different applications. So let me tell you some key concepts you're going to need to know in order to understand where the Cortices technique is going. First, your innate wisdom. Second, the tapping process. And third, exaggerated breathing. So we're going to talk through that now. So understand the innate wisdom of your body. That's what we're tapping into here. And it's important for you to know that your body does this every day. So if you cut your finger, you don't have to tell your finger to clot, the blood to clot, the scab to form, the skin to heal. You don't have to do that. That's your body's innate wisdom. And your body does it after surgeries. It does it after dental procedures, any number of things. And so just want you to understand your body has an innate wisdom to already heal itself. Now, the tapping process is pretty important for you to understand. And basically it involves spreading the fingers to reach over both hemispheres of the brain and gently tapping on the head. This helps to facilitate communication that's required throughout the rest of the body, and also helps to store the memory of the changes that are being made. So this alternating tapping with the fingers lightly tapping over the center of the chest as well, or the sternum or breastbone, to activate the energetic heart complex. So the light tapping of the head activates the brain centers to consciously reevaluate the body-mind health. And it's basically like asking the brain to fix the problem. The light tapping of the sternum or the heart complex, that distributes the energy and information to every cell in the body. So it's basically asking the heart to replace and store the change. And that's really important in this process. Now, the important thing to know is that the tapping process is safe and effective. It is not something that you should fear. There are no things you can do incorrectly here. If you tap something out wrong, nothing happens. The great news is if you tap something out correctly, healing begins. And so the tapping should be light and gentle. You certainly don't want to give yourself a headache. And notice here how the hand on top of the brain there is showing you that you're tapping on both sides of the brain, both hemispheres. So there's a couple ways that can look, as you see in the 2 pictures with the green checkbox on the right. So you're not trying to just tap on one or the other side of a part down the middle of your head. So be sure that you understand that aspect. The next thing we want to talk about, next key concept, is exaggerated breathing. So the brain uses the breath to scan the body, and the breath enables the body to scan all the energy frequencies to determine any areas of concern. So inhalation scans the higher frequencies. That's like the emotions and brain activity. And that's why we avoid deep inhalation when we're emotionally upset. However, if we take a deep breath, we get in touch with the pathological emotions, and the body-mind will attempt to address the problem. Exhalation scans the lower frequencies, the tissues, the bones, etc. That's why people with arthritis breathe shallowly, because a full breath actually will put them in touch with the pain in their bones and joints. So that's really important information to know. And in the breathing aspect of what we're going to do, you want to do at least 2 full breaths for each hand position. So now I'd like to get started on the Cortices technique. Understand that the key starting technique for all levels of body talk is Cortices. It should also be used in all healthcare and well-being modalities. So if you're going to have a chiropractic treatment, or maybe you're going to get a shot and a needle is going to be involved, these are all great times to do the Cortices technique. Balancing the cortices also appears to have a significant effect on stress levels. So when a person contracts an illness or they're involved in an accident of any kind, a certain amount of stress is created. So balancing the cortices appears to calm all the body systems. There's an accompanying subjective increase in well-being. People just simply feel better. People can use the cortex balancing technique for stress management. It's also great for helping young children, calm them. So these are just a few things to keep in mind around the cortices. Now, when we talk about the term cortices, the cortices technique is historic, but it's actually inaccurately named because the technique balances all the structures in both hemispheres of the brain. The cortices are only the outer part of the brain, whereas the whole brain needs to be the point of focus. So notice that this darker tan going around the outer side of the brain, that's the cortex or the bark or skin. We're balancing the whole brain, not just that outer bark. Let's look at a little more brain anatomy. Here's the different lobes of the brain: temporal, frontal, parietal, occipital. Each of those is actually being balanced in the whole body-mind complex. So understanding the underlying theory is that all disease has a functional relationship with the brain. Biophysics has established that the brain is also a major set of electrical and electromagnetic circuits. Different stresses will cause short-circuiting and disruption of these circuits, which aren't always repaired because of environmental circumstances. The Cortices technique is designed to repair these circuits and restore enhanced function of the brain, and energy circuit improvements in mental and physical illness can be improved when this communication is restored between what we call cold spots. So repeated application can go a long way to calm the body and help it be less reactive. So the Cortices technique has a focal point, and the focal point is connect all the points of the brain, right brain to the left brain, highlighting any cold spots that need to be eliminated. There's a number of hand positions, and in this picture here, you see one young man tapping out another young man on the Cortices technique. The number of hand positions is going to depend on the size of the practitioner's hand and the size of the client's head. So what I'm going to actually do now is walk you through me taking you through the Cortices technique. Now, just so you know, out on our website, accesscompletewellness.com, you can get yourself a Cortices card. It is on our resources page, and it will show a similar picture with different subjects tapping out the cortices on themselves as an individual, which is exactly what we're going to do now. So let me show you how the cortices is going to look. So the first thing you want to do is you want to take your hand, not like this, but like this, and it's going to go on the back of the head. Now I'm going to show you what it's going to look like, but you're going to have 2 fingers above and 2 fingers below that occipital lobe ridge. You'll feel that little ridge at the base of the skull. So let me just turn around and show you briefly. Now what you're going to do is you're going to wave to yourself like this, but I want you tapping lightly. Take some deep breaths, and you want to be on both hemispheres. So deep breath, and lightly tap over the heart. Deep breath. Now I'm going to take the next hand for ease in demonstrating, and we're going to go to the next hand position. So I'm one hand position up. I'm going to lightly tap, breath, and tap over the heart, breath. Great. Now it doesn't matter what hand taps and what hand holds, okay? I'm going to take the next hand, go next hand position up, lightly tap on the top of the head, lightly tap over the heart. Fabulous. Next hand position. Now my hand's in the way of where I need to tap, so I'm just going to tap right on top. Now you may have to do extra hand positions because you may have a bigger head or smaller hands. So, alrighty. Next hand position, always want to make sure you go all the way to the forehead. And I'm lightly tapping on top, both sides, lightly tapping over my heart. Last hand position, put 2 hands, fingers together, perfect. Take one hand off, lightly tap on top of the head while you breathe. Lightly tap over the heart, fabulous. And lightly tap top of the head and lightly tap over the heart. Fabulous. Don't you feel great? More than likely, I'm recommending to you from your session that you should do this at least once a day. It's possible more than once, and you can't overdose on it. So the more you do it, the more benefit. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining me.